4 or 5 months later, right?
And he got
And
fourth or fifth, fourth.
fourth. Why?
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with an update of Terrence Ruffin. As most of you guys know, he missed the Arnold Classic this year in order to make all the necessary improvements so that he can move up in Classic Physique Olympia ranks once again. So Terrence did move up last year from 6th to 5th from the Olympia 2022 to 2023. But here is the fact. He dropped down from 2nd to 6th from the Olympia 2021 to 2022. But here is the important fact. He presented a way better physique in all the shows that he did last year. And if I'm not mistaken, he did a total of 4 shows last year. And I believe his physique at True Classic post Olympia, that was one of his best physiques in 2023. So we also got to see some off-season physique updates from Terrence Ruffin this year. He's pushing 200 pounds and maintaining a good enough off-season composition. But it seems like he is struggling with some sort of an injury. And Terrence revealed that in a recent Q&A. And although his arms have came up considerably since 2016, the year he made his Olympia debut, also the year when Classic Physique was inducted in the bodybuilding industry. But still, this is an area where more work is required, as his competition now has way better arms than him, and almost all of them. Brian Ansley has one of the best arms in the division. Ramondino has one of the craziest biceps out there. Now add Wesley Vissers in there as well, because he is 100% gonna be there in the mix. I guess you guys will be more interested in that statement that Terrence Ruffin made regarding Urs Wesley, as Urs claimed to be the guy who's gonna beat Chris Bumstead this year. And here is what Terrence had to say further about that. Personally, I think Urs has lost a lot of his hype. Now, don't get me wrong. He will always gonna be a top Classic Physique Olympian, but after 2021, he was like the next big thing because he had a similar structure to Chris Bumstead, and he also had the same weaknesses as C-Bomb. Like C-Bomb also had weak back and weak arms at the beginning of his career. But here is the thing. Even though Urs has been able to progress in those areas, but he hasn't been able to make as much improvements as the champion Chris Bumstead. And also he has never been able to beat Ramondino since 2021. And now he got beat by not only just Wesley Vissers, who is the Arnold Classic champion now, but he also got beat by Brian Ansley after 2 years. So the timing of that statement was kinda bizarre, because it did not really make any sense. And Terrence has made a really good point here. If anyone has earned the right to say that, that is Wesley Vissers, because he was the clear winner at both Arnold Classic Ohio as well as Arnold UK. So I cannot wait to see Terrence get into that prep zone and bring a bigger and a better package this year. And maybe Urs also needs to do something that he has never done before since he turned pro. Take a page out of Terrence's book. Take a long off season. And by the way, this was also the advice given by Chris Bumstead to skip the Arnold Classic and train the entire year for just one show, the Olympia. So with Urs, we all know the weight cap is the real issue. And that is the biggest advantage that Terrence Ruffin has over all of these guys. He has so much room to grow. And I am sure he is definitely gonna be a lot bigger than last year. So 2022 was the last time we saw Marc Hector on a bodybuilding stage. And since then, he has been going through tough times. This is the second time Marc Hector had to go through a shoulder surgery in the last 1.5 years. And it was necessary to go through a second surgery in order for him to train with an intensity that is required to progress at the highest level. So Marc wants to step back on the stage this year. He wants to compete this year, but only time will tell how fast he can recover. You guys must remember Marc Hector from 2022. He looked all round and 3D while prepping for the Arnold Classic UK when Andrew Jack won. So Marc doesn't have the most developed cores in the game. They need to come up big time. But his upper body, his arms, his chest, his delts, the striations on his chest, that makes him a very special athlete. Plus, he is a very tall guy with a very small waist. But more than his quads, he need to bring up his back, because that was the biggest knock on his physique the last time he competed. So the best mark that we saw was at a show post Arnold Classic UK. That was one of the European shows, where he finished second behind Patrick Johnson. I believe the show was Yamamoto Cup 2022, and you could have really flipped a coin in that show. It was that close between these two guys. So will Marc be able to come back and compete this year? He really wants to, because it has been his second year away from the stage. So let's see how fast he can recover, and wish him a very speedy recovery.
Why did he get fourth?
Yeah.
Because when I saw the Arnold, I wasn't like sitting there. I was watching it in the green room. Bro, I thought he spanked everybody.
What Phil Heath pointed out in the latest episode of the Menace podcast is what many fans have been asking since Big Ramy's last show, which was the Arnold Classic 2023. So watching Phil Heath talk about Big Ramy, that will really fire up all of his fans and all of the bodybuilding fans in general. So Phil Heath believes that he is still that guy who is legit 300 pounds on the Olympia stage, and the sheer size that Big Ramy carries, he can dwarf everyone. We even saw that at his last show at the Arnold 2023. He was dwarfing everyone including Samson Dauda and Andrew Jacked. Nobody can really match him in that size department. So the thing that Phil Heath pointed out was that why Big Ramy was given 4th place finish at the Arnold, and how the judges weren't able to see all the improvements that Big Ramy was able to make from the Olympia to the Arnold. Because I can clearly remember the head judge Steve Weinberger saying that Ramy looked the same as he was at the Olympia. So how did all of a sudden Big Ramy's legs became an issue? Ramy had overpowering quads throughout his career. He won the Olympia with those quads. Even the bumps on his quads were a lot better at the Arnold compared to the Olympia. And most importantly, he won the 2nd Olympia title of his career with that same back.
He walked out. I was like, this is a joke. Like, it's a wrap. So I don't know where he goes from here. I think some things will answer themselves come in Pittsburgh.
Now we know how all of these guys are gonna look at the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing, because we have been getting all these updates from all of these guys. And Big Ramy is the only one who hasn't shown us anything. So this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro means a lot for Big Ramy and where his career is gonna go. Because this really is gonna set the tone, whether Big Ramy is gonna hang up the posing trunks after the Olympia 2024, or whether he has more in his tank. So Big Ramy turned pro back in 2012. So that is a 12 years long career already. And being 300 pounds over such a long period of time, that is a lot to take. Now as a bodybuilding fan myself, I would love to see Big Ramy shock everyone in less than a week's time at the Pittsburgh Pro. But do let me know, what are your expectations?
Ramy knows. When I lost in 2020, my last Olympia, I told him if I was fucking on, I would have won this show. So you have to promise me that you're going to come in better next time.
The injury update of the 4 times men's physique champion Jeremy Buendia is next. He's hoping to get back in the gym this week, and he has got a lot of catching up to do, considering his current situation. For those of you guys who do not know, Jeremy tore his Achilles tendon while going for a run about 3 weeks back. And that, I have to say, is a very horrible situation for him, especially when he was just about to start the push phase for this upcoming 2024 season. So Jeremy won his first ever men's physique Olympia title 10 years back in 2014, and his record of 4 consecutive Mr. Olympia title wins, that is yet to be touched by anyone. So Jeremy clearly wasn't satisfied with the look that he brought to the stage last year. It was really unrealistic for him to think that he's gonna come back after 5 years gap and win another title. But that is what Jeremy expected, and that was the mindset with which he trained throughout the season. And according to Jeremy, he missed his mark. He looked a lot better leading into the show. So the division has evolved a lot, especially in the last few years. But I think all of us would love to see how Jeremy will place if he shows up the way he did in 2017. One of the best looks the men's physique division has ever seen. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.